18, Jacob Bullock versus number 9, Nick Feldman. Here we go. Bullock went for a shot immediately off the whistle. Feldman back in on the re-attack. He's got the single leg shelved up.
Man, quick action for the big guys here.
Feldman trips Bullock down to the mat and gets the takedown out on the edge. Bullock with the split step as we go out of bounds.
Man, I love that. You don't see that at heavyweight too often. Guys going out there shooting off the whistle. Both these guys very athletic heavyweights, so they both wrestle like little guys, but as you can see, they are big men.
Jacob Bullock on the season, 14-7, 5-5 in duels. He's 3-3. He's split the Big Ten dual meet matches he's had this year. 8 bonus point victories. Flip it over to Feldman, 12-6, 6-3 in duels, 9 bonus point victories. He's gotten 8 tech falls this year, 2-5 against the top 25. As Bullock gets out and gets the escape, we're back up to our feet. 3-1 the score, Feldman ahead of Bullock.
Feldman likes to threaten. He likes to threaten these high-level shots. You'll see him swipe at the leg, and then he uses that to set up his lower shots. Last week, though, versus Michigan, he gave up the match-winning takedown off of his own high crotch, got stuffed under there, and that's a position where JB is really good. I'm sure Feldman, after the Michigan match, he's been drilling in that position. We'll see how that comes into play.
Nick Feldman, 1-0 all-time against Indiana in his young career. He beat Nick Wilhelm 12-3 last season. Jacob Bullock, on the other hand, 1-1 against the Buckeyes in his career. Two kind of opposite ends of the spectrum here, Dan. Bullock, the grad student, Nick Feldman, the young up-and-coming redshirt sophomore.
Yeah, Feldman's been impressive so far in his career as a Buckeye, and Bullock has had a long, successful career as a Hoosier. Very big for this duel. We'll see who gets it done. Pace has kind of slowed down here a little bit after that firecracker opening. Both guys gaining pace. And a nice shot by Feldman. He's got to keep his head on that knee.
Feldman in on a low single. Bullock putting the heavy hips back into him. Feldman tries to sit through. And we get back up to our feet right at the Indiana logo at center mat. 1 minute to go, period 1 at heavyweight. 3-1 the score in favor of the Buckeye.
And there it was. We saw it right there. JB's hips crashed down hard. And Feldman did a great job of clearing out of there, sitting through, peeking out, and getting back up, not staying under those heavy hips of Bullock.
If you're just joining us, the man to my right just mentioned we started at 197. It was a firecracker, lightning strike of a match at 197. Gabe Sollers gets the ranked win over Seth Shoemate 10-6. Play wrestling is stopped. We will reset. Toes on the line, and here we go again.
30 seconds remaining, period 30.
I'd like to see Bullock get back to his offense here. He did get scored on off that opening attempt, but you got to stay with it, and a nice snap attempt.
Both guys heavy on the collar. Jacob Bullock second at the Midlands this season. Nick Feldman got 6th at the Cliff Keen Las Vegas Invite. Two very, very tough tournaments, Dan. These two guys, very savvy wrestlers, very accomplished wrestlers in their own right. This first period comes to a close, and a little bit of extracurricular
a little chippy,
pushing
a little
and shoving.
chippy. I love it.
And for more on this matchup, we'll now toss it to the third member of our crew, Ari Betterly. Ari.
Thanks, Riley. Yes, these are the two heavyweights up today, Jacob Bullock and Nick Feldman. For the Hoosiers, Bullock has been consistent. The 285, he's a graduate student with his leadership and consistency that has made him a crucial piece to Indiana. When I spoke to head coach Angel Escobedo about Bullock, he said, Jacob has been a leader all year. He set the tone of what toughness and experience look like. And on the other end, the Ohio State Nick Feldman continues to develop into a serious Buckeye for the heavyweight pipeline. This redshirt sophomore is following the footsteps from some elite OSU heavyweights, and today's matchup is another big test. Head coach Tom Ryan spoke with Feldman's growth, saying, Nick's got all the tools. He's working to be one of the best and taking big steps, and it should be an exciting match. Back to you guys.
Thanks for that, Ari. Again, two very accomplished guys. Bullock, the old savvy vet. Feldman, the young, hungry up-and-comer. He leads 4-1 as we begin period 2. Feldman began this period with the escape.
That was a good point by Ari. The Buckeyes do have a tradition of having very successful heavyweights. We remember Kyle Snyder, I'm sure we all do. And Feldman's looking to keep that tradition going for the Buckeyes. Nice attempt. Wow, so athletic from Feldman to cartwheel out of that. But nice attempt by Bullock.
Holy cow, Dan. I know these two guys are heavyweights, but they can move. They're like two freight trains.
Yeah, you don't see many heavyweights wrestle like this. Bullock, I think Bullock has a 10-pound advantage on him if I looked at the weigh-in sheet right. It's interesting at heavyweight when you see, you know, that's a whole weight class at the lower weights, but at heavyweight, it's just another day at the office.
Bullock began his career at Old Dominion. The program got dropped after his freshman year, so he came back to the other school that recruited him, that being Indiana. And Angel Escobedo and the coaching staff embraced him with open arms. He's developed into one of the key pieces for this Hoosier squad.
Yeah, he's been a staple, cornerstone of this program. I know we mentioned last time about Old Dominion dropping their program. What a shame. Let's all try to save Cleveland State wrestling. Let's not let them drop that one.
Absolutely.
There's got to be a petition somewhere.
Yeah, and especially with the gaining national popularity of the sport of wrestling as a whole, women's college wrestling just got approved as the 91st championship sport. Dan, we talked about that in the Rutgers broadcast. Just wrestling in a really great spot. Bullock in on a shot in space. He runs out of time as Feldman gets his feet back. We head into the third period with a 3-point lead for the Buckeye. Big response for Ohio State after Indiana won 197, Dan.
Yeah, this will be a big one for the Buckeyes to get if Feldman can hold on to this 4-win lead. We saw a nice attempt by Bullock at the end of the period. We're going to have to see more of that in this period if Bullock wants to pull this one out. See how long Feldman can ride. It looked like an early start to me, but they let it go.
Bullock gets out and gets the escape. It's a 2-point match. Indiana leads 3-0 on the team score. Nick Feldman, a guy who last year came in and made some noise at heavyweight. He won the heavyweight matchup against Michigan at the Cavelli Center last year against Lucas Davison, 4-3. That pushed the Buckeyes over their hated rivals, the Michigan Wolverines. And he really hasn't looked back ever since, Dan. He's, as already mentioned, a very bright prospect for this Buckeye squad moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's showed why on the mat here today with his athleticism and quick attacks.
Feldman, the only one that's been able to score on a takedown. Both guys have been in on each other's legs.
Yeah, Feldman's been in better position when he gets in there. JB's done a good job of crashing his hips.
Collar ties, wrist ties, snap downs, head to head for both of these big guys at heavyweight.
He's got 50 seconds left. I'd like to see Bullock pick up his rate of attack here, put two together. You got to give yourself a chance if you're Bullock.
He's got 42 seconds to try and find a way to get a takedown. Stalling has not been a factor. Stalemated. We reset neutral at center mat.
But that collar, I want you to watch the left hand of Feldman. He's going to grab a collar right there, and that's what's making it hard for JB to get to his legs, that left-handed collar. Oh, and he punches underhook. He's starting to get some ideas here. He's got 25 seconds.
Fans here in Wilkinson Hall want a stall call on Feldman. They haven't gotten it yet. 20 seconds left here at heavyweight. Bullock's got to find a way. Feldman gets warned for stalling as Bullock goes for a double in space. Bullock with 13 to go. We're at center mats. Bullock trying to push the pace. Shoots in space once again.
5 seconds.
5 seconds. 4 seconds. 3 seconds. Nick Feldman hangs on at heavyweight and ties this dual meet back up at 3 apiece. He gets the 4-2 win over Bullock at heavyweight.
Great job closing that out by Feldman, keeping that collar, keeping Bullock off his legs, not giving Bullock a chance to get back into this one. And let's see it.
Match of the night, 184 pounds. Number 19, Ryder ROGOTZKE, the sophomore, against number 26, DJ Washington, the grad student. We're immediately going upstairs, locking around the body.
We're going to see some throws, some upper body stuff in this match, and a quick stall.
ROGOTZKE gets warned for stalling. This one's going to be a lightning strike of a match at 184.
Oh, and a nice quick shot by ROGOTZKE.
And on that single leg, now to the high C shot. Their defense so far from Washington. Washington Grand Prix rolls through, comes out the back. ROGOTZKE responds with one of his own. No points awarded yet. Washington with the go behind, trying to trip ROGOTZKE to the mat, and he gets the takedown.
What a sequence that was. So many rolls. It was kind of like how Ty Lillard rolled, but oh, Rogotzke's so dangerous from here. He's looking headlock.
Trying to go for that whip over. He's got the headlock locked up. That's a 2-point reversal. Rogotzke,
Oh
he's getting near fall points at 184.
Can he get the
Washington's
fall?
in trouble.
Wow, it goes from 0 to 100 so fast with Rogotzke. He's looking to get those shoulders to the mat.
Plenty of time for Rogotzke. You can just hang out in this position. That's the fall for Ryder Rogotzke.
Wow.
Whoa.
Oh my goodness, that was, I mean, looked like there was no danger there for Washington until there was. It was such a quick move by Rogotzke reaching back for that head. Most of your youth coaches will tell you don't reach back. Usually that's true, but if you're Ryder Rogotzke, you can get away with it.
125 pounds. It's number 8 ranked Brandon McCrone, 16-6 on the season against number 27 Jacob Moran, 19-6 on the year. McCrone, the redshirt sophomore. Moran, the grad student. As we got started, and McCrone took a shot to the head as he's holding his forehead right now.
I think an eye poke, accidental, of course.
Yeah, might be messing with his contact, of course.
Man, I love when we go heavyweight to 25. I know there's some mixed opinions out there, but to me it really showcases why wrestling's such a special sport. These guys, you know, 285 and 125 playing the same game. And, you know, usually it goes from a more of a boring heavyweight match to a more high-paced 25 match, but we just had a very exciting heavyweight match, so let's see if these guys could top it.
Two very exciting matches to begin us. We started at 197. Gabe Sollers got the 10-6 win over Seth Shoemate, and then Nick Feldman responded for the Buckeyes, got the decision win over Jacob Bullock. 3-3 the score between the Bucks and the Hoosiers as the lineup card turns over to 125. It's our third straight ranked head-to-head matchup. These two have met only once in their careers. It was Jacob Moran that got the better of Brendan McCrone. He won that one 4-3 in the 2022-23 season in that dual meet. They haven't wrestled each other since then.
Yeah, oh, and Jake's in on a shot here.
Nice high C shot there. Sprawling back is McCrone. Moran trying to elevate that position. You see McCrone grabbing onto that ankle through the waist of Moran.
Yeah, interesting hold, and that's what's holding Jake up in here. Jake's going to be trying to lift him. Right now, McCrone's got the advantage in this spot, but now Jake is looking to collect that leg. Oh, and McCrone's hunting. Oh boy, here we go, we're rolling around.
Got a nice scramble. These 125-pounders are so fun to watch. You got McCrone locked around the waist of Moran. Moran with his belt buckle right to the mat. Trying to come through that, and the official calls for a stalemate. Will reset neutral. Officials for today, Nicholas Grasso, our head referee, Conrad Duffy out on the edge.
And you mentioned their match 2 years ago. We asked Coach Tom Ryan about that, whether, you know, that was 2 years ago, so are we looking at that film or are we just focused on this match? And he said we like to look at tendencies, but not necessarily focusing on what the other guy does. It's all about you. Coach Ryan had a lot of great philosophy for us, Riley, just on how to approach matches overall.
Yeah, more on him in a little bit. I got to admit, when we were done talking with him, I think I told you, he got me fired up. I'm like, I want to put on a Buckeye singlet and go wrestle for him.
Yeah, I was thinking about signing up for a triathlon after that, maybe an Ironman.
Maybe a 5K. Maybe you and I can do a 5K.
A 5K,
after this.
that I can handle.
Well, he did talk about mile times. He said mile times are incredibly important for wrestling. If you can't run a sub 5-6 minute mile, then you really aren't tied into your goals as a wrestler. That's exactly what he said.
He did. He firm believer in the correlation between someone's mile time and their capacity to wrestle hard for 7 minutes. It makes sense, you know. 7-minute mile, 7-minute match.
As the first period comes to a close, as we've talked a lot about Tom Ryan. Scoreless at 125. For more on the Buckeyes head man, go back to Ari.
Yes, thanks, Riley. Yes, we've been mentioning on this broadcast, Tom Ryan has been such an important person in college wrestling for decades. Starting with that time at IU as an assistant, he said he was really being able to get a chance and get a start as an assistant coach, where he met his wife and was able to, you know, start his career. But then later on, he's now coaching at Ohio State and becoming one of the most respected coaches in the sport. Since taking over the Buckeyes in 2006, he's turned this program into a national powerhouse. leading them to a national title, having All-Americans and national champs. But Ryan says himself, we want to develop men of excellence, both on and off the mat. Success in wrestling is more than just wins. It's about character, resilience, and the pursuit of greatness. But that's all I got for Tom Ryan. He's just an outstanding man. Back to you guys.
Thanks for that, Ari. Again, as Dan and I mentioned, just a really fun conversation with Tom Ryan to preview this matchup. 1-0 the score, McCrone over Moran. I think one of the best quotes I heard, this is how he got his start in wrestling, Dan. He got cut from the basketball team in middle school, and then that night at the dinner table, his older brother told him, hey, you're going to go wrestle. And Coach Ryan responded, dude, I'm not wearing that singlet. You can't get me to wrestle. And his brother goes, you don't have to wear the singlet in practice, dummy. And he goes, you don't? And so Coach Ryan went to wrestling practice the next day, and the rest is history.
It sure is. And that you know, the singlet, I think it keeps a lot of people from trying out the sport. But, you know, we got two pieces now. You don't even got to wear a singlet for the match.
Compression shirt, compression shorts, yeah. Although I feel like the singlet has just become such a pivotal and foundational part of the sport. I feel like almost that the compression shorts and the compression shirt is kind of disrespectful.
Yeah, I prefer the singlet too. I'll tell you though, I don't like headgear. You could call headgear foundational, but not a fan. But also on that note of Tom Ryan, if you haven't watched the mini documentary that Big Ten Plus put out about Tom Ryan, I suggest you go search it up. It's on this very platform that you're watching this lovely broadcast on. Just a very, very inspiring story for Coach Ryan, recovering from some really scary injuries from a car accident. Really inspiring stuff.
1-0 the score. The Buckeyes still ahead of the Hoosier, and Moran had choice. He takes a neutral. Doesn't want to go on bottom. McCrone, we know, a pretty solid top rider. So Moran, in order to win this one, Dan, got to go get that takedown.
I think that's a smart move for Moran and the Indiana coaches. When I was watching film on McCrone, he is really dangerous from top. He's a cradle hunter. But now Moran gets in here. He's going to try to hook that leg. Same position as before, sort of. Moran a little more desperate now. We'll see if he keeps trying to advance instead of hanging on for a stalemate like before. Same position. Look at McCrone's left hand laced through the waist and around that ankle. It's making it really tough for Jake down there.
Moran trying to get to that peek-through position. He was in on the legs in this same position in the first. Wasn't able to finish. Can he finish this time? 1:15 to go in period 3 at 125.
He's
Moran
got to get
trying
height.
to come
He's got
out
to
the
get
back.
height here.
He's got McCrone lifted up. He puts him to the mat.
Oh, nothing yet. Nothing
and Moran
yet.
circles
no, he's
around.
got a cradle
Nothing
locked
yet.
up.
He's got the near side cradle locked up. Can
This
he
could
get
be
McCrone? Can he get McCrone's back to the mat?
Nothing
The official
yet.
hasn't awarded a takedown yet. 55 seconds to go in the third period at 125. That's a three-point takedown for Jacob Moran. He jumps ahead of McCrone with 45 seconds to go in the third.
Oh man, what a job by Moran, powering through it. We almost thought he was going to get him to his back, but McCrone slipped that arm out and made it tough on Moran to even get the takedown, but he does it. Now he's got 30 seconds. You got to ride as long as you can if you're Moran. Take him out of bounds, get back, fresh start.
He drives McCrone out of bounds. The Buckeye will go back on bottom. He's got 29 seconds to make something happen. Once again, these toss-up matches, Dan, these ranked head-to-heads, you got to have it for either team. As McCrone Gramby's out and gets the escape. It's a one-point match.
That was a slick roll. McCrone's going to throw the kitchen sink at him here. He's got 20 seconds. Moran's got to hold on to this front headlock. He's got to keep him right there if you're Moran.
Moran, nice job, content to hang out down there in the front headlock position. McCrone trying to drive him out to get that stalling call. Moran, you see the savvy move. Puts his right boot back in the mats to drain the time. Jacob Moran brings Wilkinson all to its feet. A gutsy 3-2 win for the Hoosier. Indiana back in front.
Man, that toe at the end, that took the last 5 seconds off the clock. Great job by Moran to hold that front head and let the time.